So hey guys, this video is gonna be about, sorry, excuse my like nasty desk. I haven't cleaned and I'm tearing my room apart for break right now, but I decided a while back to order some silkworms. As you saw in my last video, I have a bearded dragon now. He's a little small for full grown silkworms, but I was doing a lot of research and it is a lot of money if you want to feed your lizard live worms every week, which I do. It usually costs me about $10 a week. In this like silkworm investment, I bought the food, the eggs, and also some tweezers just to grab them with because I don't really want to touch them once they're older. But overall it cost me about $30, and I had been skeptical because it basically just said, oh, just leave them there, like that's it, for 7 to 14 days. And I was like, oh, past the return date, so that seems kind of sketchy. They probably just sold me poppy seeds. But I looked today and it looks like 2 of them have actually hatched. If you see the little black lines, not the circles. And so I just wanted to take you through this journey since it is officially happening now. They do take about 30 days, I heard, to get to full size, and I'm farming them. I'm not just growing them from the dish. I mean, I am, but once they reach 30 days, I will be breeding the moths, and then continuing to feed him the worms at a smaller size, not full grown, since, as I said, he is just too small right now for the big worms. But that is the update. All right, so it's now the day after. Yesterday was December 7th and today is December 8th, and I woke up to a lot more silkworms. Yesterday only 6 hatched, and then I was kind of worried and nervous about it, but there's way more today. So I'd say there's probably about maybe 50 to 100. I'm not really sure. I stopped counting because obviously there's so many. But I just put them in my bin because it says that having the eggs close to the food will not allow them to hatch because of the moisture. So, yeah, so here they are. I put a few eggs just because some of the worms were attached to the eggs still. And so I figured some of them were okay, but I still have an occasional 1 or 2 hatching in the petri dish. I got this mulberry chow on Amazon, and I do plan on moving them up to leaves once the worms are big enough, just because the chow does cost a good amount of money if I was gonna keep them on it for 30 days and farm them with mulberry chow. So that is the plan and the update. I'll check in with you guys next week. Okay, so these had hatched. I wrote initially December 7th, but it was more like December 7th to December 9th. They hatched over a couple of days. And this is them after about a week. So today is the 16th. So all of them should be a week old. They're a little bigger, honestly kind of small for a week in. I started noticing they looked different and had a silk buildup by about day 3, which was pretty cool. But so far so good. I just feed them some of their mulberry food once a day, and that is literally all I do. I am planning on buying a mulberry tree and transferring them to mulberry leaves in about a week or less. So I might just start doing both and then transfer them completely to leaves in a week, because I don't want to use all the mulberry food since I'm planning on farming. I just want to use the food for the first week stage of their life. I'll check in with you guys next week. Yeah, so they're basically really small. There's a couple of them that look bigger than others, but oh, my cat wants to say hi. But they're pretty small. I have been feeding them every other day. They're still fine. Like, that's been fine. They're alive because the food is still moist and they're not eating everything I put in the cage. But maybe that is causing them to grow a little slower. So we'll see what they look like next week. All right, so now we are a few days past week 4, and from what I understand, this is definitely the point that the silkworms would be cocooning, but I still have some that are really small, like that guy right there. There's a few here and there that are significantly smaller than the other ones. Yeah, so I'm not sure really why they're growing so slow. I hope they grow faster sooner, because they're right now at about the stage I'd expect at like week 2 or 3. So hopefully they get big soon. Okay, so hey guys, this video is over a progression of much longer than I thought it would, but I just wanted to talk about so it's now been a month or maybe more, like a month and another week, so like 5 weeks since I started hatching my silkworms, or my silkworms actually hatched. And I think I've made a lot of mistakes along the way. They're still doing fine. I don't really think any have died or anything, but I just wanted to talk about what you might not want to do that I accidentally did. So there were actually like it's been kind of hectic. So it's been really cold, I'll say that. I did start growing them in winter, which is colder than they're normally supposed to have in order to breed faster and grow faster. So I knew that was something I should expect, but I was still thinking that by week 5 they'd be full grown, or they'd be moths. You can see cliffs in the background. But I did start, so I was planning on by like week 2 switching them to mulberry leaves, and I think I mentioned that in a video. And I went looking for a mulberry tree, but I'm in California now. I normally am in Reno in Nevada, but now I'm in California. And I guess in California, not only because it's winter, they don't really sell a lot of trees, but they also stopped selling mulberry trees because the pollen content was so high. The pollen content was so high. So I can't find a mulberry tree. And then I bought like the mulberry pre-powdered food or whatever, and I've been feeding them on that, but I thought that I'd have a mulberry tree right now, so I left half of the mix in Reno. So I ran out of mix, and I ran short on mix, and I thought that if I fed them every other day, I could like make what I had last, so that like long enough so they could lay eggs, and then I could save the eggs to hatch them later. But that did not work, and I think they also are growing slower because they're only growing when they actually are eating like fresh food. So I just ordered more powdered food online, and I've decided I have to start feeding them every day, because I fed them yesterday or the day before like a lot of food. Like I just splurged. I didn't put just a few, slices of the mulberry food in. I like filled, their little tank I have them in right now. And today, I swear they're double the size that they were last time I saw them. So I was like, dang, like these guys want to grow. I'm just not feeding them as often as I should. They're not dying, but like they can't grow or become full size without a larger amount of food, because there are so many of them. So I even noticed that about half of them were bigger. Like some of them are still so small, and some of them are like half the size they should be, which is a lot bigger than the other size, because I think some of them are getting food and some of them aren't, just because I'm not getting them enough food. They're still all alive again, but yeah, I've decided I need to start feeding them every day. So I'll keep giving you guys updates, but just so you know, that is probably why they are progressing so slow and growing so slow. I still don't want to give up on like the farming them journey, because I think it will be easier. I just have to purchase a mulberry tree or have access to the food, like if I had access to a full bag. But I do think it's going to be half a pound of silkworm chow for, I think I have 100 to 150 worms right now. So that would definitely take them through the 30 days. It looks like they eat a quarter pound every half of a month. But again, I've been trying to like grow them over 5 weeks on a quarter pound of food, and it's not working. They're not growing as much as they need to be. So yeah, I'm gonna splurge more on food, but then I hope that they will start growing and becoming full size. One of them was big enough today that Cliff could eat it, and so I gave him one, and he really liked him, so I was very happy about that. But that was just my check-in with you guys. I'm still farming them. I just wanted to update you on kind of what went wrong and why it's taking so long to farm them. All right, so I have not done a great job checking in with you guys, but it's just because they're growing so slowly. So I'm not doing weekly anymore. I don't know. I've just been kind of updating when anything changes. But basically, I don't know why these all hatched like within the same 2 days of each other, and they are significantly different sizes. Like I've been feeding my crested geckos the really tiny ones, but there have been some that look like they hatched like a week ago, and they're all gone now because I fed them to my crested geckos. But yeah, they are growing at significantly different rates. So what I did is the ones I want to breed, the biggest ones, I moved about 16 or 18 of them into this other Tupperware. And those are the ones I'm not feeding to any of my pets. They're just here to make more eggs for me. And then these guys, this is where I messed up. For some reason, they were all small, and I was like, this is totally fine. Like, I don't want to feed Cliff small ones. I want them to all be bigger when I feed them to him, and, you know, I want to breed them. So I wasn't feeding him any of them. And now I, like, seriously regret that, because I'm trying to feed them to him as fast as I can, because he doesn't, I mean, I don't want any of these, and they're too big for my crested geckos. They're almost too big for him. Yeah, so now I have a bunch of extra silkworms that I don't need. So this has just definitely not gone as planned. These guys have not started cocooning yet, and of course they're like 2 months old, so I don't really know why they haven't started cocooning yet, or cocooned like a month ago. But yeah, basically my thoughts are they smell absolutely horrible, and I'm really done having a bunch of them. So that's what's up. That's the update. But you can even see, like, this little one is way different size than those guys, and they're all different sizes. And I'm using so much silkworm chow because I think I told you guys the silkworm tree plan did not go as planned. So I am buying silkworm chow for them, and they're solely living off that. So I'm not saving as much money as I had hoped to right now. That is my update. I will show you guys next time when they start cocooning. Okay guys, so we finally have something happening. The larger ones that I put in here only lasted like a day or two before they started cocooning. I'm still confused because some of the smaller ones are cocooning, and it looks like the largest ones I put in here are not. But yeah, there's 4 over here that have fully cocooned. There's a bunch over here that are cocooning today, and I've still got like 7 who are not cocooning. But it's pretty cool. These guys are like fully done. So I'm gonna take those out and transfer them to another tank where they will hatch. Okay, so excuse my voice. I've been like super sick. These guys cocooned a few days ago, maybe a week ago. I'm wondering how long it'll be till they hatch. I haven't really like got a definite answer online, so hopefully they hatch. It's been a while, but right now I just took them all out of the different cage setups I had them in. Basically all the other silkworms are gone. I only have like 7 left, and I'm gonna create the like a paper towel habitat for these guys for them to hatch and lay eggs in. I also couldn't find any information online on the best way, like the best not substrate, but like ground kind of substrate, like for them to lay eggs on, because my whole plan is for them to lay eggs and then refrigerate the eggs or freeze them, whatever is the better method. But that's my plan. And so I'm gonna like layer this with paper towels, and I think what I'll end up doing is like tearing up the paper towels and trying to separate the eggs into like 100 count Ziplocs. I don't know how well it's gonna work though, because I know that they like drop a lot of fluid when they hatch. So we'll just see how this works. It's gonna be trial and error. I don't really have a better way of doing this, so I'm hoping this works out. Oh my gosh, guys, so I just checked on my moths, and I was like, oh man, they're never gonna hatch because it had been so long. And I look, and they're really beautiful. It looks like I have about 4 or 5 hatched right now. I think that one looks female, but I think they're just waiting for the other sex to hatch. But they're really pretty. They're smaller than I thought they'd be. Yeah, sadly I'm leaving for the weekend, so leaving them on their own. But they're really beautiful. So here's an update. They're active, so I don't want to open the lid. But it definitely looks like, I don't know if you really can see, oh, it's focusing on my finger, but there are some eggs there in the silk. I've seen some, those 2 look like they're actively mating, but obviously a lot more have hatched since I left and came back. All right, so now there's been some progress. I think they're still occasionally hatching because I've seen a few that have died, and I've fed those to Cliff. But there are still some that are, you know, laying eggs, and it looks like I've got a lot of fertilized eggs. So that's pretty cool. Honestly, I am kind of surprised by how few eggs I have, considering how many moths hatched, but it's just a lesson to learn. Maybe I'll hatch more next time.